Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we'll be doing another class in our series of classes on Aries ascendant and the ruling planet Mars and the different signs. Tonight we're going to be doing the Mars in Sagittarius, which is an interesting combination. It's again a double fire sign. And last time we said it's very difficult. It would be, say, better for a man maybe than for a woman. And tonight we'll be doing the chart of a woman who had this combination. And but anyways, let's talk a little about, before we do her chart, let's talk in general about this combination. And as here you have the ruling planet in the 9th house. So if a person is going to be, their life goal is, again, they're going to want to express themselves through 9th house affairs, through a Martian way. A Martian way, it can be a violent way, it can be a pushy way, it can be a argumentative way, it can be a way of protesting, all sorts of things like that when you have Mars in the 9th house. A person who attacks other people's beliefs, or a person who defends his own beliefs very strongly. All of those things are indicated by having Mars in the 9th house. It's really sometimes can be like religious fanaticism, especially if it's connected with Jupiter. Right? Jupiter says religion, Mars is together they make fanaticism. But in any case, the Mars there, it's very argumentative and very, because the 9th house is the house of higher education, law, religion, philosophy, and a person is very, very, especially when you have the ruling planet in Sagittarius, ideas are very important to the person's beliefs. The person wants to convince other people that he's right, or she's right, and they're wrong, and they want to convert people to their own way of thinking. That's the Sagittarian nature. And so it's a person that's going to be very, very interested in intellectual pursuits, in 9th house affairs, also travel, law, philosophy. All these things are going to be important, religion, and they're all going to play a part in the person's life. And so you're going to see a person that's going to be very, very always when Mars is, you have to remember everything. You see, first of all, that by being the ruling planet in the 9th indicates the 9th house is going to be important. Then you look at the planet. Well, which planet is it? It's Mars. So Mars is going to tell you the approach that they're going to use in the 9th house. It's going to be a Martian approach, which Mars is the knife. Right? It's an attacker, right? Its nature is to attack. It's hot. It's hot-tempered, and so it's going to use that Martian energy in relation to 9th house affairs. And then you look at the sign it's in. Well, you see it's in Sagittarius. A person is going to be very much wanting to use that Martian energy in the 9th house through Sagittarian ways. Sagittarius is very, very important to express their own ideas, their beliefs, and things like that. So they're going to be very hot-tempered in explaining their beliefs and trying to convince other people that they're right, and all sorts of things like this. Tonight we're going to look at a chart of a very famous woman, a very famous folk singer in the 60s, and she was very active in all sorts of protest movements. She was active in the civil rights movement. She was active in the civil rights movements. She was active in. She was a pacifist. She was very in pacifist causes. She was very involved. She was very involved in against the Vietnam War. She was went all around the world promoting peace. And she was, from an early age, she was involved in civil disobedience and things like that. And so you see that right away. Her chart is mamash a classic example of this Aries with the Mars ruling planet being in Sagittarius in the 9th house, right? She devoted her life to that. And but she made a profession through music. She was able to use the music also as an outlet to protest through her songs also. So I think it's a little difficult, though, more for a woman, right? She was a woman who was able to use this aspect, so to speak. She made something out of it, and what else can I say? If you look at her chart, right? So you see on her career, she had a very powerful career chart. She had Venus almost on the top of the chart, in close to the ascendant, mid-heaven, which indicates a career in the arts, music, things like that. She also had again, she had we see this again, this combination keeps coming up and up again and again, and we saw it in actresses, artists, singers, people artistic, this triple conjunction of the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, and she also has it. Right, when you have the Mercury conjunct, Mercury connected with Mercury and the Sun, again, it's going to give you a musical ability, right? It makes a very, very musical very good at communicating, very good at music, things like that, very famous with the Sun there. Again, that famous guy, that combination. She also had a nice Jupiter, she also had she also had 3 planets in Taurus, which indicates she's going to make a lot of money through her voice. Taurus was in her second house, and she had the 2 heavy planets there, Jupiter and Saturn, in a conjunction together with Uranus. So she became quite successful. Her family too was very successful financially. Her father was actually a physicist, and he wrote one of the main textbooks on physics that's still used, and he also was the inventor of the X-ray microscope. So it was a quite well-to-do family also. And but near her chart, if you take a look, she didn't have an easy life, this girl, she was too masculine to chart. She was too, I think she had a hard time probably in relationships and things like that. I didn't really look at it. She got the Mars exactly opposite her moon. So I think it hurt her femininity to a certain degree. She was very heated up, very angry. For a peace activist, it doesn't look like, even though she has the Venus on the top of the chart, that Mars opposite the moon can be a very cutting type of aspect, a very, a certain self-righteousness, a person, is dismissive of other people, of people's ideas and things like that. So you see, it's not an easy chart for this woman. It's much too masculine, much too self-assertive, much too self-righteous, much too convinced of her very argumentative type of personality. The Moon Mars is a difficult personality type. There's a lot of arguments involved, and a lot of emotional outrages. She never had really much in connection to relationships. She never really, from what I saw, looking her up, she was only married once for a very short time. Before they got divorced, she had a son, and she had a number. She said, I think she once said, "I was born to live alone." Right? It's not a chart that really, for a peace activist, it's not a person. It's funny, but she couldn't really, it wasn't a chart that's meant to live with other people, right? Because she's so much, There's just too much to the chart. Very talented woman, very good voice, but she was probably a very, very difficult type of personality. And I thank everybody for listening.